Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiv Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiriye Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Yutta Sholoke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 20, Conversation between Maitreya and Vidura, text number 26 onwards. Pahi mam paramatmaste preshnena srijam praja taima yabitum papa upakramanti mam prabho. Lord Brahma, approaching the Lord, addressed him thus: My Lord, please protect me from these sinful demons who were created by me under your order. They are infuriated by an appetite for sex and have come to attack me. It appears that the homosexual appetite of males for each other is created in this episode of the creation of the demons by Brahma. In other words, the homosexual appetite of a man for another man is demoniac and is not for any sane male in the ordinary course of life. So this not so natural appetite, Prabhupada says appetite, not so natural inclination, it is demoniac. Because Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that I am the sex life which is not contrary to Vedic principles. So anything contrary to Vedic principles is not Krishna, and that is demoniac. Whether it is man and man, or whether it's woman and woman, oh, whatever. There's so many things going on these days. Tvameka kil lokanam klishtanam kleshanashna Tvameka klesh dastesham annasan padam tava. My Lord, you are the only one capable of ending the affliction of the distressed and inflicting agony on those who never resort to your feet. The words kleshadas tesham anasan padam tava indicate that the Lord has two concerns. First is to give protection to persons who take shelter of his lotus feet. And the second is to give trouble to those who are always demoniac and who are inimical towards the Lord. Maya's function is to give afflictions to the non-devotees. Hey, Brahma said, you are the protector of the surrendered souls. Therefore, I surrender unto your lotus feet. Please give me protection from these demons. So this is a devotee actually. Any problem happens, he takes shelter of the Supreme Lord. It's not that Brahmaji couldn't have taken care of these demons. He is powerful enough. He's a representative of the Lord. But for a devotee, it's better to take shelter of the Lord. And obviously, he is going to do whatever he needs to do. But still, taking shelter means then we are in the right consciousness that we are not the controllers. Understanding that we are not the controllers. So avadharyasya karpanyam vivikta dhyatma darshanaha vimunchatma tanum ghoram iti yukto vimumochaha. The Lord, who can distinctly see the minds of others, perceived Brahma's distress and said to him, cast off this impure body of yours. Thus commanded by the Lord, Brahma cast off his body. The Lord is described here by the word Vivikta Dhyatma Darshana. If anyone can completely perceive another's distress without doubt, it is the Lord himself. If someone is in distress and wants to get relief from his friend, Sometimes it so happens that his friend does not appreciate the volume of distress he is suffering. But for the Lord, Supreme Lord, it's not difficult. The Supreme Lord, as Paramatma, is sitting within the heart of every living entity, and he directly perceives the exact cause of distress. So Prabhupada says, if anyone can completely perceive another's distress without doubt, it is the Lord Himself. Even like the best relationship that comes close to Krishna's love for his devotees is considered mother's love for her babies. But even mother sometimes cannot know the exact distress the baby is going through. Sometimes it is in Bhagavatam only it is mentioned that when the baby is little and sometimes he has some problem and he is crying. Babies only know how to cry, and he is crying. Mother doesn't understand what he is crying for. Maybe she feeds him, but the baby's stomach is hurting, and she feeds him, and her tummy ache goes burst. And sometimes maybe he's hungry, and mother thinks he's crying because his tummy is hurting, and does something else. So even mother would not know exactly how much distress baby is in. So how about anybody else? Nobody can really understand except the Supreme Lord. So that's why it's always better to approach the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord as Paramatma is sitting within the heart of every living entity, and he directly perceives the exact cause of distress. In Bhagavad Gita, the Lord says, Sarvasya Chaham Didi Sanivishta. I'm sitting in everyone's heart, and because of me, one's remembrance and forgetfulness occur. Thus, whether one fully surrenders unto the Supreme Lord, thus, whenever one fully surrenders unto the Supreme Lord, one finds that He is sitting within one's heart. He can give us direction how to get out of dangers or how to approach Him in devotional service. So, when one fully surrenders, then he can understand, he can really see the Lord is sitting within our heart, within one's heart. It's very difficult to, although He is the closest person to us, even our parents of husband, wife, or kids, they're not even that close, as close as the Lord is to us, even physically. But one has to surrender. Then one can start perceiving His presence there. The Lord, however, asked Brahma to give up his present body because it had created the demoniac principle. According to Sridhar Swami, Brahma's constant dropping of his body does not refer to his actually giving up his body. Rather, he suggests that Brahma gave up a particular mentality. Even that subtle body, giving up the subtle body is also giving up the body. Mind is the subtle body of the living entity. We may sometimes be absorbed in some thought which is sinful. But if we give up the sinful thought, it may be said that we give up the body. So that is the right understanding. In fact, this we have to constantly do to ourselves. When we are making progress in bhakti, so what happens? Especially when we are chanting, that it is said, Cheto Darpan Marjanam by Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Shikshashtakam, first verse. So Cheto Darpan Marjana means the mirror of the heart, or it gets cleansed. So the holy name is going inside our heart and it's cleansing the heart. It's just like if there is a room and there's a dust over there for millions of years. We cannot understand millions of years. Maybe the room was closed and the dust was gathering over there for maybe for a couple of years. Let's take this example. And if we go in there, open the door and start cleaning the room. So we take the broom and we start cleaning the room. But the dust had already settled in that room for 2 years. So if we start cleaning that room with the broom, okay, most of the dust will be gone, but some dust will be scattered in the air. And that dust which is scattered in the air, it will bother the person who's cleaning the room. Maybe he will start sneezing or whatever. Some problems will happen because there's so much of dust in the room, which was the dust originally was settled, but now it's in the air and it disturbs the person who's cleaning. If he keeps on cleaning, the remaining dust will also get cleansed. That's a different story. But in the beginning, it will disturb the person who's cleaning. So similarly, what happens when we start chanting, when we take up chanting process, and when we take it up seriously, the dust of the heart. Now, what's the dust of the heart? Dust of the heart is the unfinished desires. There's so many desires, millions and millions of desires. And they are settled in the heart in the form of the dust, which is settled for millions and millions of years, billions of lifetimes, in fact. Because the mind, intelligence, false ego, heart means not the physical heart, or we can say the mind, or the subtle heart, where all the desires are kept. So when the holy name goes in there, it starts cleansing the heart. And it's the experience of everybody who's chanting, who's sincerely trying to make progress, that so many desires while we are chanting and after we finish our rounds, after we complete our rounds, so many sinful desires, they come up in our heart, in our brains, in our thinking, that we never even thought of those desires before. Then we never even gave even a slight little thought. So many desires, sinful desires, especially the sinful desires. Because dust means the sinful desires. They come up. Now what to do? So sometimes people think, oh, I was better off when I was not a devotee. All these thoughts were never coming to my mind. But we have to understand the cleansing process is taking place. The room is getting cleansed. The heart is getting cleansed. And when it is completely cleansed, of course, that is when Krishna will come and sit in our heart. Krishna doesn't like to go and sit in a dirty place. So, all this background for what? Like Prabhupada is saying there, Sridhar Swami says, give up that mentality. The soul, we studied in Bhagavad Gita, the mind and the intelligence is powerful than the mind has been powerful than the gross senses. Intelligence is powerful than the mind, and the soul is even more powerful than the intelligence. So actually, my soul is so powerful, it can control the mind and the intelligence. So all these sinful desires, sinful thoughts, like Brahma ji is giving up that particular mentality, so we can also direct the mind to give up that kind of mentality. We can tell the mind, literally command the mind, give up that sinful thought. Give it up right now, as soon as it even enters our mind. While chanting, after chanting, whenever it enters, you just tell it, get out of here. Literally, we can tell that thought, get out. But at the same time, we have to replace that dirty thought with something positive. Because empty mind is devil's workshop. So we tell, soul is very powerful. Soul is part and parcel of Krishna, and Krishna is the most powerful person. Look how he killed Hiranyaksha. So we, at the same time, we tell our mind or we tell a thought. Okay, some sinful thought came to my mind. I told that thought to go away, and I fill it up with whatever. Fill it up with, I want to serve Krishna. I want to go to temple of Krishna. I want to chant more rounds or whatever. We fill it up with, Krishna, give me more confidence. Krishna, give me more um, love for your holy name or whatever positive thought we can think of. So we have to fill it up, fill up our mind with that. So slowly, slowly, we keep on practicing that. And then slowly, slowly, we'll not have those thoughts bothering. So this is one of the processes that we have to actively adopt. Of course, when we say Chetudarpan Marjan Paramvijayata Shri Krishna Sankirtanam, it will happen. But that might take a long time because our chanting is not powerful. Our chanting is not pure enough. So actively, we can tell those thoughts, get out of here, get out of my heart, get out of my mind. And there will be so many sinful thoughts. We would be amazed how many sinful thoughts come up when we are chanting. Brahma's mind was not in correct order when he created the demons. It must have been full of passion because the entire creation was passionate. Therefore, such passionate sons were born. It follows that any father and mother should also be careful while begetting children. The mental condition of a child depends upon the mental status of his parents at the time he is conceived. According to the Vedic system, therefore, the Garbhadan Sanskar, or the ceremony for giving birth to a child, is observed. Before begetting a child, one has to sanctify his perplexed mind. When the parents engage their minds in the lotus feet of the Lord, and in such a state the child is born, naturally good devotee children come. When the society is full of such good population, there is no trouble from demoniac mentalities. So again, Prabhupada makes another great point. Uh, the mental condition of a child depends upon the mental status of his parents at the time he is conceived. Very, very, very important for devotees who want to conceive children. Of course, the child itself has its own sanskaras from so many previous births. Especially the birth he just had when he died. So that sanskar is so strong and so much in the forefront. When the child is born, he'll definitely carry that sanskar. But at the same time, he carries the sanskar of his parents. It's not by chance that a child takes birth in the womb of a particular mother through the semen of a particular father. It's not by chance. So the parents have to be extremely careful. Nowadays, people say, oh, this is all superstition. Who believes in all this? Because they don't have any faith in the scriptures. The child is not just a product of some sexual activity and just a piece of flesh just gotten together and the child is born. It's a jivatma who's taken shelter of that body, and that body has taken shelter of the womb of a particular mother. There is some science behind it. So if we are producing children like cats and dogs, so that kind of children with that kind of consciousness will be born. So that is why Why it is proper again and again, sir, for the Grihasthas, it's important to keep Krishna in the center, Krishna in the center, Krishna in the center. It doesn't mean Krishna literally in the center of the house and that's it. No. Krishna in the center of all our activities, all our dealings with each other, husband and wife, and the children, if they're already children, means Krishna's pleasure, Krishna's service is in the center. Means we take care of each other. Husband takes care of the wife and children, wife takes care of husband and children respect their parents. For what? Because it's service towards Krishna. Not that we fight with each other and then if suppose we want to have a child, what will be the condition, mental status of the mother or the father when they fight with each other and then they want to have a child? What kind of child will be born? And then we go and child has problems and health problems and this and that. When then we go and run to the doctor and why? He has a health issues because his own mental status was not proper when he was conceived. If somebody has already has problems from the previous life and then this kind of mother and father he got, then he and so much of anger is transferred to the child and child comes out and he's very angry and parents cannot even understand why is the child angry because he hasn't done anything in this life. Well, you did help him getting that kind of mentality. And although he was from that kind of sanskar from the previous life. So it's a big science, big science. But then the question is, okay, we didn't know what to do that time. Now what to do? Now again, so that sanskar is there, but we can try to give new sanskar to the children. And that new sanskar will depend upon how we live our life now, how we raise the child now, what kind of example we are setting in front of the child. If husband and wife are quarreling at home, fighting at home, yelling at each other at home, and yelling at the child at home, what kind of mentality is going to develop? We can definitely understand that now. Just like there was an ad I was seeing on YouTube that says, uh, if husband is hitting his wife in front of the child, and when the child grows up, what is he going to do? He's one thing. This is normal thing. I can hit my wife because I've seen my father hitting my mother, or other things also. I'm not saying this is the only case. There could be millions of things. So children are very receptive to not to what we say, but to what we do. So parents have to be very careful in front of child. And that carefulness can only happen when we are devotees. Because then we don't have to act differently in front of the child. Because devotees, they just take care of each other. That's how it's supposed to be. So when the parents engage their minds in the lotus feet of the Lord, and in such a state the child is born, naturally good devotee children come. When the society is full of such good population, there is no trouble from demoniac mentalities. Not just demoniac people, not even from demonic mentalities also, there won't be any trouble. Why? Because then the children and the society will at least be in the mode of goodness, if not beyond. So yes, it's a long shot, especially with the Kali Yuga, the way it is going. But at least we can try to make our household a better place, like Vaikuntha. So I'll stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments. Hare Krishna. I guess we can stop here. You all have a wonderful day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.